I've been a busy girl today. Let me just wait for this to start up. There it is. Now let's pop out our chat. I'll give everybody a chance to come in. My hair is clean. I had a shower yesterday. It's just not behaving. It really isn't. Oh, I'm supposed to cut Howie's hair today too. I'll tell you. Oh my goodness. How's everybody doing? I did some transplanting today. I changed my plant light to the pink, red, and blue one because I prefer the ones that have white in them for out in the dining room. All my bendy plant lights are in place, and I'm really liking them. I'm really liking them so far. All right, now that everybody is saying hello, let me put it on this on live chat. And participants. Now, this doesn't always let me scroll. So I'm going to say, hi, Seashell Surf. Aloha, honey. EJ. Hi, Joe Mama. Lacey Black. Laura Higgins. Linda Bob. Lisa Allen. Roots Run Deep Farm. Sherry Leach and Tina Elliott and Wanda. Catherine Shira. Okay, now let's go back to the live chat and bring it on up. Hey. How's it going? Hey, Minnesota Farmer's Wife. Tina Elliott. Yoshi. Hi, Stephanie. Ninja Clan Kathy. Tina Elliott. So, let me get a tea bag out of my tea here. Oops. I don't like my tea too strong after 4 o'clock. Been a busy girl. Got out of bed. I stayed in bed till 11 today. And not because I was depressed, just because it felt so good just to lay there and read for a little bit, ponder what I wanted to get done today. I slept 7 hours straight. 7 hours. I can't figure out how I made it that far without having to go to the bathroom. Hi, Ella B. Sherry Leach. So whoever was with us at Sassy Saturday last night, the cocoa did its job. Yeah, I know. I can't remember the last time I had more than, usually I'm just floored if I get 6 hours sleep. I'm happy with 5, but 7, I hit the ground at a real quick shuffle this morning when I finally got out of bed. I know. Well, it has to do with the fact that I, medicated with medicated cocoa last night, and we had our Sassy Saturday. So thank you, Seashell. The pup wakes us up to go out early. Well, the thing is, hi, Robin Rose. Thing is, EJ, is Gracie goes to bed with Howie, and I'm usually up editing or doing something until about 10 or 11 o'clock. And then when I go and I make my cocoa or my warm drink or my bedtime snack, Gracie comes out. She's like, oh, you're making your snack. Any chance you could let me out for another piece? So at 11 o'clock, she goes out again. And so she's good until I get up at 5 in the morning. Howie always gets up. If for Howie to sleep in at 7 o'clock. But I didn't get to my lights out until just after midnight, and I woke up at 7:15. And then I just rolled over and went, yeah, that felt really good. And then just snuggled my dog and snoozed. And then I woke up and read a little bit, and then I thought, I'm getting out of bed. And it had nothing to do with depression, had everything to do with I deserved it, right? I had to remind myself that sometimes laying in bed is a good thing. Right? I got some CBD chewies and they help so much. I was very skeptical, but they sure help. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Cocoa would probably hurt too, though. Well, I mean, there's a video coming out on Rumble about how I make this particular cocoa. I have done it by slow cooking herb and milk and all that stuff. I've made herbal milk. I've done it by adding butter and then hitting it with a hand blender. That's my bulletproof cocoa. This is a new kind. And it's much easier to make and there's less waste. So I did some transplanting today. You remember those little trays of herbs I just started? Well, the Manitoba tomatoes are already coming up. And then I just transplanted my first planting of Manitoba tomato. Don't worry, they'll all get outside at the same time and they'll all be the same size. Trust me. But I ended up thinking I only had like 7 or 8 Manitoba tomatoes. I ended up with 12. And now I have more coming up. So I said to Howie, I said, we got to figure out where we're going to plant these because I plant them in the front. And I'm going to plant the zucchini bed and the tomato bed. And I want to do herbs, but I might start a new herb bed. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just not. Hey, Jane. Hi, honey. How are you? How are you, sweetheart? I'm struggling so bad with my anxiety and it's causing panic attacks almost daily. I could use some prayers. Absolutely, Stephanie. What are you having anxiety attacks about? That might be the first. Like I know sometimes anxiety attacks hit and you're just trying to shake it off and you shake your hands and you do something really busy. But sometimes there's a reason for them and you have to look at them. Oh, look at that, Seashell. You're right on the ball. Hey, Jean Kubicek, how are you? I made protein. Oh, wait a minute. I missed that. Hey, Tina Harvey, how are you? I made protein balls out of dates yesterday. They're divine. Nuts, dates, peanut butter, and a pinch of salt. Ooh, see, I've never been huge on dates. But those sound really good. Not late. Good to see you. Happy thoughts and vibes your way. Well, thank you. And back at you, Tina. Tina Harvey. I found Manitoba tomato seeds and bought them because of you. Well, that depends on where you live, too. Like, J0 Zero, Brother John, he didn't like them because they get too hot. It gets too hot farther south. And they are a shorter season, cooler weather plant. So last year, I didn't have a great haul. The year before, I did. This year, if I don't, I'm going to try and find a way of putting in 14 to 20 plants. Now, I only have room for 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I could probably do 15 in those beds. But instead of putting cages up this year, I think I'm just going to, I think I'm just going to stake them. Like if I put 3 in a bed, I think I will try the Florida staking where I'll put a stake and a stake and then I'll wind string around the 3 plants. And then when they get bigger, you wind more string. So we'll see. Hey, Calico Chaos. Cali Chaos? How are you, darling? Lynn Smith, Kim Solomon, Sheila Clerkin. Since I had blood pressure issues, I'm constantly worried about it and it just sets everything off. That's just going to make your blood pressure worse. So, I mean, do some deep breathing, do some relaxation and meditation. You find yourself in a panic attack, go lay down on your bed, put your feet up on the couch or in an armchair, and then turn all the sound and the noise off. Cover your eyes and do some peaceful meditation, imagery even. That will help. It really will. New Brunswick, Canada, Tina Elliott. How many Tinas have we got in here? Tina Harvey, Tina Elliott. Hey, Linda Bopp. I'm just going to plant some Amish paste tomatoes this year. That's what I need for canning, so I'll try growing all instead of buying them. Well, there you go. The trick is, Joe, is as they ripen. Now, paste tomatoes do not ripen on the vine. they will fall off before they're fully ripe. So you have to pick them when they're kind of orange, maybe with a tiny bit of green on the shoulder or something. And then bring them in, put them in a box, and when they're ripened, start tossing the ripe ones in another box in the freezer. That's what I do. And then when I have enough for a canning session, away I go. Washed all of the dog toys. He stood in front of the dryer till they were out. Oh my goodness. You're welcome, Steph. Oh my goodness, EJ, that's so cute. Charlene Weber. We have started our tomato plants also. My husband got crazy. He has started over 100 plants. Boy, I'm going to be so busy. Well, I started some flowers. I have no idea what that winter sowing garden is going to do. Therefore, I'm not counting on it. That's why I planted mostly herbs and marigolds and 4 zucchini. So we'll see. I have made newspaper pots for seedlings. They're fine, but when they get wet, they start to fall apart. And what you could do is you could probably make your own pots. You know what I'd do? I would rip up a bunch of old used seed peat pots from last year and shred some newspaper and put it in the friggin' blender with some hot water, put it on a screen and strain out most of the water, and then find a couple of little 2-inch plastic pots. They look just like a little flower pot, only they're plastic and they're 2-inch, right? Fill one, press one inside the other until it all oozes out, and then do it again, right? And then very carefully, once they're pressed, take them out and then stand them upside down to dry. You can make your own pots. You can make it with cardboard, newspaper, old peat pots. You know what I mean? I just read this. I get the red Solo cups, and that way, you know what, Lacey? I just ran out. I bought red. You mean the red beer cups, right? I bought those, I don't know, great big thing of them in Costco a long time ago. We just finished using them last year. So I bought a package of 40 of them, I think. And what I do with my tomatoes is I've transplanted my first set of tomatoes because I got more coming up. I don't transplant them until they're in second leaf. And then I take them, they're in 2-inch peat pots. And when they get to the point where they need to be transplanted, I'll just rip the peat pot off and then plant them in a beer cup all the way down to the first set of leaves. And then by the time it's come time to plant, they'll be ready to go. Hey, Fiona B. Hey, Mary Lindsay, how are you, darling? Elaine Marie, hi. I find white noise helps. Hair dryer. Well, you know what? Winter or summer, I have a fan going on in my room. And it's not necessarily just white noise. I have really bad tinnitus. It's not necessarily just white noise. It's, well, it is partially white noise, but I need air moving around me. Hey, Angela. How's it going, honey? Howie said we're probably going to come down Saturday morning, dear. Saturday morning, Ange. Angie Mac, hello. Good afternoon. So I got to talk to the Bubba today. I got to talk to the Bubba today. And of course, Mel is mommy. But wow, what a difference a week can make. Like, is it a week or 2 weeks since I saw him? It's only been a week. And he's like looking me in the eye over the phone. And he's like trying to talk like more. Every time I talk to him, he talks more. And he waved at me today. I wave to Grandy. And he went like this. And we're going to count that and oh my God, the dimples when he smiles. So I had to sing to him, and we had a big conversation about Grandy's going to buy him a toy Jeep when he gets old enough to have a 4-year, a toy Jeep license, which is about 3 or 4 years old. And it's funny, the things you forget. She said, Arthur, plays with him by putting because I was doing peekaboo. And she said, Arthur does this thing with his receiving blankets and stuff. And he pulls it down over his face, and he really likes that. And he said, you used to do it. I had to stop and think of what she was talking about. And then I remembered, a memory totally forgotten. The first summer, Arthur's first summer, we spent at my sister's house because she was working, Marty was working, and they had 3 boys, right? So I stayed at their place in the summer. I was living with my dad, so I went and stayed at their place for the summer to look out, look after the boys. And I would, Arthur slept in a playpen, and I would change him on the double bed or whatever, because they had double bed on the bunk and a single bed on the top, the bunk beds. And I would take, if I had a scarf, a silk scarf, or a receiving blanket, whatever was handy, like a receiving blanket or a silk scarf or a pillowcase even. And I would go like this, and I would flip it out and cover him, and then I would pull it all the way down until it was like this. He would appear, and I go, peekaboo. And she said, Arthur does that. She said he remembered me doing that. He was 6 months old. No, 4 months old. And he remembers me doing that. Our grandson is 9 at a hockey tournament this weekend. Oh, cool. The granddaughter baby just stopped by for a visit with her parents. I can't believe she's 11 weeks old now. Well, Bubba is 2 months old tomorrow. Enjoy yourself too, Seashell, okay? You don't have to be constantly working. I love your little emojis. They give me reason to smile. Now, I'm gonna do a 2-minute serious discussion here. All right? Here's your homework for the week. For those of you who choose to accept this, I want you to look up 15-minute cities. I'm going to be doing a rumble on it. I got a lot of editing to do, guys. I have a lot of editing to do. I'm going to be doing a rumble on it, on 15-minute cities. And when you Google it, you're going to see a very in bold, heavily highlighted phrase, conspiracy theory. Now, does everybody know what to replace the words conspiracy theory with? I know, Linda. I know. Okay, Jane, take care, sweetheart. Okay. Doesn't matter whether you're a fan or not. You got to verbally speak out against them, because they're already in place in Paris and in some places in England. They're going to try it out on Peterborough, Ontario. So, not necessarily stuff that turns out to be true. We like to say wherever it says conspiracy theory, we call it a spoiler alert. Why? Because every conspiracy theory I have ever shouted about in the past has already come true. If they do this crazy idea, how can one shop for bargains? Self-reliance is the answer. Self-reliance to the best of your ability is the answer, right? It is time, people. It is time for us to say, you don't get it, because people think that, that'll never happen. That'll never happen. Okay. For all those people who think it's a conspiracy theory and that it'll never happen, what do you think the pandemic was? The pandemic, in my humble opinion, and I am not a professional, I am not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a politician, thank God. But the whole point, hi Ruth, Yeah, about 6 months exactly. Now, the whole pandemic was not as bad as they had hoped it would be. When I say they, I mean the powers that be and the elite and the World Health Organization and the governments and everything. They just kept counting that people would trust the person above them next, and all the way up the ladder to the World Health Organization. And the governments just ate it up. Do you remember when COVID first started and everybody was scared, and I had my sister come up and stay with me for 3 months? Do you remember me going into Wakefield to get cigarettes for her at Giant Tiger, and I got stopped on the highway by police in a barricade, and I got stopped coming home, and I was told I was no longer allowed for the foreseeable future to shop at Giant Tiger. I had to go north. And I told them, am I under arrest? Because you can't tell me where to shop. No, you have my mama. I said, no, show me the law. Did I wake up behind the Berlin Wall this morning? We know it doesn't exist anymore, but let's not forget the Berlin Wall. Okay? So my Cooking with Cannabis channel has been posted. I will be posting a rant right shortly. Hey, BlackRock. I'll be posting a rant right within the next day or so on Rumble. They already, forced us to wear masks, forced children to wear masks when they knew the mask didn't work. Like, every major issue in history, they show you for when you're dealing with radioactive material, what kind of mask you need. When dealing with infectious diseases, what kind of mask you need, like the CDC. When you're dealing, blah, blah, all these things, mustard gas mask, all these things. The most deadly virus in history. Here, have a paper mask. No, right? So the point is, all of this, Howie had to go through 4 checkpoints a day just to go to and from work. And the whole point is that was a test to see how they could round people up. Then everyone goes, oh no, this whole mini city thing, okay? This is a city. It's hacked up into districts. If you want to go from this district to this district, you can't cross. You have to go out and around, and you have to have a pass to do it. You honestly think that we are going to allow that? You can't tell me where to go in my own home. This is my country. I am free to travel anywhere within my country without, but they totally, the whole pandemic and the pandemic response was geared to see how they could manipulate the people and how fast they could get us all in line. Shit like this happens over a long period of time. It's like driving up a very slow incline. But when you get to the top, it's a sharp incline down, and it happens real quick. And we are at the peak. We can't let them do it. Okay. Hi, Kathy Ponder. How are you? 2 of our doctors and 3 dentists in a row quit practice because of the new rules. Yeah. Andrew, it's a sham. Not everyone fell for it, thankfully. I subscribed to the Cooking with Cannabis channel on Rumble. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. I made some hot cocoa last night. I'm gonna a different way, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. Boiling frogs, that's right. Well, I know, but there are people who are still out there getting jabs. You know why? Because they're getting sick. Oh, I better get another jab. I'm getting sick. They don't realize that every time you get a jab, you are literally interfering with your natural immune system, right? Hunger Games, Divergent, Soylent Green. Come on, folks. What do you go by on Rumble? Okay. There's my Cooking with Cannabis, and I go by Mrs. Wolfie on Rumble. and try and look up Mrs. Wolfie Let's Talk. That's my other channel. Went through for a massage therapist, but refused to get registered due to all the rules and regulations. There you go. She's done all that. Yeah, exactly. I'm not moving to no 15. Yeah, well, I'm not moving to no 15-minute city. I'm prepping so I don't need to be dependent on the government. Well, Angie Mac, what happens when the city moves to you? Just saying. So anyway, let's not talk about all that negative stuff. Let's talk about what we do have control over. How many tomato plants I'm going to plant this year. Right? I plant where the sun hits the most. So that means, and how he's going to have the coach in the driveway, but he can't put the awning out until, when the sun's out. Well, I'm going to say about 70 to 80% of the population was very easily corralled. You got big mouths like me who I don't give a shit that there's a cop standing at my car or my truck. I don't care that he's had to stop me, that he thinks he had to stop me on the highway and tell me I couldn't go to Wakefield anymore. I had to shop farther up. I don't care what his instructions were. It wasn't legal. They think because they put a cop there and to tell you what they want you to do doesn't make it legal or right or correct. You have the right to say, no, I don't. You can't tell. Yes, I can. No, you can't. I know. And I told him, I said, I know my rights. I used to live in Wakefield. That's why I shop there, because I know the stores, I know the people, I know the geography, and I know how it works. You send me to Gracefield, which is, 10 kilometers farther away, where there's a Metro grocery store and all these other stores that I really don't know what the prices are. I don't know whether they carry what I need. Down south, I know where everything is. So you can't force me to shop outside of my zone. Now, am I saying my zone? I did, didn't I? My zone is where I choose it. No, we're not. He's not tapping the trees. Howard? Howie? Could you come here a minute, please? Just come here a minute, please. What do you mean you're not dressed? What are you wearing? Well, you're wearing boxers. Throw a t-shirt on and come here. I need you to come and tell these people something. Now come here, please. Nobody cares that you're in your boxers. There might as well be shorts. Then you don't have to. But at least come here and refuse here. What are you being so particular about? Oh my word, YouTube changed my settings. Couldn't message until I reset everything. Canada's leader doesn't seem to have Canadians' welfare in mind, you think? Can see that even in Ireland. Hey, la grosse patate! How's it going? Boxers or shorts with easy access. Okay. Come in here.
Excuse me.
Certainly. All right. Now, you tell everybody why you didn't tap the trees this weekend.
Because we're going to have 2 more weeks of below freezing temperatures.
Night and day?
Night and day. The coldest or warmest it's going to get is -6. That's why I did not tap the trees today. I also went on the word of a guy who taps 500 acres of trees, and he's not doing it earliest next weekend, latest the weekend after.
Yeah, well, these 2 next weekends, you're going to be in Brockville.
Well,
you'll have to
figure about that, are we?
Yeah, we're going on Saturday.
I might be there one day.
Okay, we'll see.
It gives me Sunday. If I decide to do it next weekend, it'll be Sunday.
Yeah.
And who knows if we'll be following up the weekend.
I'm
after.
getting dizzy being bent like this. Mwah. Thank you.
Now bugger off.
Have you had your shower?
No.
Good, because I'm cutting your hair. And are you shaving off the Santa face? Yeah, cold snaps ahead. So the problem is if you tap them too early and they freeze, you have to go, it heals. Like it doesn't heal. You got to go and you got to retap all those spots. So no, bugger off. Yeah, that's one of his favorite things. You're going to tap 15 trees. How are you going to get to 10 of them? You know, struggling through deep snow is not good for your heart. We don't have to tap them all.
Everything I do is not good for my heart.
Well, they say sex is good for your heart. Yeah, but what a way to go. Hey, Andrew in Yorkshire says hi. Everybody says hi. Oh, we don't have any snowshoes, Waldo. Cold snap ahead, yes, for the Pacific Northwest. So this weekend coming, we're going to go to Angie's and probably start working on doing some renovations at her place. So you'll see some videos there. Everybody loves you, Howard. Yeah. That's what he says to me. Hey, Vicky Lemire, it's nice to see you. Here in Wyoming, we're due for 18 inches of snow. Well, snow isn't a problem because when it's snowing, it's because the temperatures are rising, right? Extreme cold, you don't get snow. The extreme cold happens before or after, but not necessarily during a lot of snow. Snow needs the right kind of chemistry for it to freeze light and fluffy like that. Well, thank you, LaGrosse Patat. I have to finish them. But he doesn't need a haircut. Just give him a headband. No, he needs a haircut. And he needs to shave his beard off. Been trying to hem hubby's pants. I'm not good at it at all. Don't have to be. It's just the hems. Are they dress pants or are they work pants? If they're work pants, hell, use staples. Ha! Just kidding. Don't do the work for nothing if it's too early. That's right. It's raining again. It's raining again. Oma says it's raining again. Bev, have you heard of the train derailment in Ohio, United States? Wondering if news came your way. I heard about it. I phoned Brother John yesterday and had a long chat with him. And I think it's disgraceful. Because from what I understand, the railroad workers wanted to go on strike not long ago. Like, I don't know if it was in the last 6 months or the last 2 years, but I know the railroad workers wanted to go on strike. Excuse me. And one of the conditions was they were being told that were safety conditions. They had to inspect the cars. And they had, I think it was 5 to 10 minutes to inspect each car. And then they wanted them to get it down to 60 to 90 seconds. You can't even walk around a rail car in 60 to 90 seconds, let alone inspect it. But apparently the government quashed the protest and didn't allow them to strike. And, well, you can see what happened. And the sad part is they had all these horrible, not just gas and stuff, but all these horrible toxic chemicals, things that make PVC and all that stuff. And when they derailed, they were afraid that the tankers were going to explode, the ones that weren't broken. So they thought, well, we'll drill holes and release the goo and we'll have a controlled burn. But the controlled burn got out of their hands. And now the EPA is telling everybody they're just going to scrape all the soil down 2 feet and all that stuff. But it's been raining, hasn't it? You know, I think, no offense, but I think that I saw this on Facebook for anybody who may have seen me post it. I think Ohio should change their name to the Ukraine so that they can get help. The only reason the government stepped in is because Trump went on Twitter and everywhere else saying, the hell's going on? You know, this people's animals are, it's in the water, it's in the soil. This is a closed environment. And it's been raining. It was heavy. There were some heavy rains. And that shit gets washed down into the soil, into the water table, into the creeks, the rivers. Now, where John and them are, they said they're farther north, so they're not necessarily going to be affected land-wise, but it will affect the Ohio River. And the government's already promising cases and cases of bottled water in case their water tests bad. Bet you those friggin' cases of water are from Nestle, who don't think people should have water for free. You know, I'm having one of these days. Yeah. So, I mean, I talked to Brother John, and I phoned him and I said, look, I've been hearing all this stuff. I just want your take on it. And John's take for me is as good. His word is as good as gold. So our leaders lead leadership. You can't fix the problems of a world that's shaped like a pyramid by replacing the point. You got to start at the foundation and start over. Tina, what's your boy's name? My friends in Cincinnati have been stocking water forever, thank goodness. Saving pop tabs for kids. That was saving pop tabs for, I think my sister-in-law still does it. If you save them, she turns them in somewhere and they help for wheelchairs or something. Teflon! FEMA turned them down for help. Yes. Well, now FEMA's going to come in because, you know, Trump's made a stink, right? Ruth, Canada, of course, what? How's it going, Teflon? Soon as Trump said that he was going to Ohio, FEMA changed their mind. Exactly. I got stopped by a cop because I was going for a walk. Yes, you heard that right. A walk too late at night. Oh, yeah, they had us on lockdowns and curfews and all kinds of shit. I am a grown-ass woman. Nobody tells me when I can and cannot leave my house. Oh, it's for your own safety. I don't give a fiddler's fart. My safety is my responsibility, not my government's. My government's responsibility is to listen to its people. Not to make decisions for us that we didn't friggin' ask them to. Funny how that works, the FEMA Trump thing. I'm glad. Everything's okay. Yeah, we miss Brother John, but he's got no use for YouTube. And, well, you know, I'm migrating a lot of my stuff. I've now got 2 channels on Rumble. So I'm still working here. I'm still putting, you know, Life with the Wolfies. Howie's done a couple of videos. Some on his car. One he's got to finish. He's finally repaired my kitchen drawer. Budweiser is great for canned water after a disaster. They are so nice. Oh, let me get this to you. We went to the National Arts Center, and while we were waiting for in the lobby for to be seated for the concert, Howie went and got us a water. It's bad enough drinking water out of plastic, but he brought it to me in an aluminum can. And I said, he brought 2 of them, and I said, how much were these? He said $6, 2 for $10. So I got 2. I said, you paid $5 a piece for a can of water. Honest to God. And I can't drink water out of metal. I can if it's stainless. But aluminum? Nah. I don't like drinking out of aluminum. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you. Can you make any money on Rumble? Not particularly. I have to, you know, my Cooking with Cannabis channel on YouTube got up to 18,500 subscribers, and I was starting to make $20 a month when YouTube decided my channel was dangerous. Because I was preaching the gospel of medicinal herb. Misinformation. If I tried to put a medical marijuana video up now on YouTube, they would take my channel down, and it's already had 2 strikes. I know some people think that's funny, but the truth is I have to get 18,000 subscribers from Cooking with Cannabis to go over to Rumble. That's why I put out a little video on Cooking with Cannabis saying, hey, we're starting up again. We're just moving. We're moving where they can't tell me. So yeah, if I got something like 10,000 subscribers on each of my 2 Rumble channels, I might start making, $20 a month or something. I don't know how it works. But I do know that they're monetizing my Cooking with Cannabis videos. So praise God. I'm canning pork and beef. I'm telling you, I've been so busy today. I've got supper in the crock. I found my last half a rotisserie chicken. So I buttered the crock because I've learned a trick when doing this particular supper. I butter the crock while it's cold. Then I put in my half a frozen rotisserie chicken. This is what I did because it's not a video. So you want to know how I did this today? 1 more year and we can say cancer-free. He'll make his 5-year mark. Oh, that's awesome. People here have camera on their doorbell. Can't go nowhere without being filmed. Yeah. Problem is you can film that. You just can't use it on the internet. You can't film people and then use it on the internet without their permission. Right? So I didn't know you had a second Rumble channel. Well, I'm still trying to figure out how it works. Right? I know how to upload videos. But what was I saying before that? Oh, right. Supper. So today, or yesterday, I actually found the last half of a Costco rotisserie chicken. Thank you, KB. And I buttered it the crock pot while it was cold, and then I put the frozen half a chicken in the bottom. Then I drained a jar of carrots. You know what's coming. I drained a jar of potatoes. And I patted them with a paper towel, and I put them all over the chicken. And I put half an onion on top. And then I melted probably 2 tablespoons of butter and a tablespoon of garlic olive oil, some garlic, some paprika, some pepper. And I melted it, and then I just poured it all over the vegetables. And put it on, and that's supper. Well, thank you, Waldo. You downloaded Gab? Oh, that's awesome. As soon as I can afford it, right? Like, I'm not e-begging, guys. I'm not money begging. It's just January, February, March are the worst months for ad revenue for me. But as soon as I can afford it, I have a list going on. I'm going to buy Gab Pro for the year. I'm going to buy Gab Pro. Because apparently now, if I find out when I buy Gab Pro or before I buy Gab Pro, because they say with Gab Pro, you can live stream from your Gab channel. But if it's like Rumble where you have to have third-party software, I'm buggered because I can't figure it out. Did they remove the channel? Nothing comes up on it, though. Did they remove the channel? What channel are you talking about, Angie? I have used crockpot liners, but I it's just as easy to clean the crockpot. You let it soak and then you give it a scrubby. Nothing comes up on it, though. Did they remove the channel? I have no room to download Gab. Well, that's okay, Joe. That's okay. You and I are, in touch with emails, so that's not a big deal. The Gab app. Put it on your desktop. I have it on my phone now, but it's harder maneuver. They are picking up speed. Gab is picking up speed, and people are learning to scroll past the racism, to scroll past the insanity, the crazy people, to scroll past anything that doesn't enrich their life. Like I said, Facebook has made it so that people don't have to scroll anymore because they've censored it for you. You have to learn to be your own censor by scrolling, or else you'll be offended and you'll think, wow, Facebook is so much nicer than this. That's because they don't allow people to express themselves completely. Sounds great. We love your recipes. We tried the cottage roll and the corned beef, and we just love them. Oh, I've got 13 cabbage plants this year, Ange, not just 7. So I had to start more marigolds. Okay, Laura, take care. When I get too many empty jars, I can something. Yeah, that's where I'm going next. I'm going to can some ground beef. I'm going to can some stew meat. I'm going to can bone broth. So those are all upcoming. I know I've been saying it for a couple of weeks, but I've been busy with baby plants and baking bread. So today, I told you what I did with my chicken. Then the water I drained off the potatoes and the carrots, I used to start my bread. Because I didn't put carrots or potatoes in the bread, but I used the water to start my bread sponge. And the way I look at it is the bread's going to be normal. It's going to be white bread, right? But it's going to have the nutrients of the potatoes and the carrots that get left in the water when you can them. So being off Facebook for 3 years, don't miss it. Well, gotta come over to Gab. Sent you a picture of what comes up on my Gab. Okay, I can't look at it right now, honey, because my phone is filming this. I love cabbage. And cabbage is, do you plant the marigolds all around the cabbage plants? Yes, I do. And it worked. I plant an early cabbage. By the time the cabbage moths are becoming to be a problem and you're getting a hole here or two on the big outer leaves, my cabbages are ready to harvest. So I plant the French marigolds around, and I think last year I could fit 3 cabbages in one bed. I had 3 in one and 2 in another, but they didn't seem the one. There were 3. I may do a whole row of just 2 cabbages per bed. I left everyone was so mean. Okay, wait a second. You know what? I don't miss it either. And the thing is, like I said, with Gab, it's pretty much just like Facebook, except they don't have a messenger yet. What is my name on Gab? Mrs. Wolfie. There it is right up above. Seashell, put the link right there, Ange. My name on Gab is Mrs. Wolfie. And when I post stuff on Facebook, for the people who haven't moved to Gab yet, I post it on Gab as well. Why? Because there's going to come a day when you're not going to see anything of me on Facebook. I've been weaning you guys off me on Facebook for over a year now. So, amen. But cabbage is in the medicinal book of herbal, the medicinal herbal of Penelope Odie, as it has so many, it's in the medicinal herbal book. It's good for your bowels. It's good for your, I don't know, you look it up. Cabbage is pretty much a medicinal herb. So I actually still have some. I found some more in my freezer, and I'm going to make, do you want to see me make lazy man cabbage rolls in the crock pot? So, yeah, Facebook has added commercials to everything. Well, there'll be commercials on Gab too eventually. You know why? Because they got to pay the bills. But then there are going to be people like me who buy Gab Pro, which is $99 a year or $500 for a lifetime membership. I don't trust lifetime memberships. I had one on Jib Jab, and after 2 years, I didn't use it. I went back in, and they didn't recognize who I was. So I would rather Spend $99 for the first year. See how it goes. It's a tax deduction. And then just renew it every year. Folks, hey, BlackRock, I held out until 2013. A family member finally told me if I wanted pictures of my family, I needed to get Facebook because they weren't paying to print and mail pictures. They've all left Facebook. Yeah, most of my family's not on Facebook. Anybody want to tell Charlene how many videos I have on bread? How many would you like? This is one of the reasons I'm moving a lot of my craft videos and stuff over to Life with the Wolfies. I have over, 3,000 videos, 2,000 videos on our half-acre homestead. And it's a quicksand for anybody looking for something if they don't know how to properly search. So let me just do this. I'm going to go over here. We're going to show you how to do this. I'm going to show you. Now, this is a desktop. It doesn't necessarily work with your phone, but let's show you how to do this, okay? Here we are. I'm going to go over to our half-acre homestead. I'm not going to change channels because I'm going to change my channel, switch my account over to our half-acre homestead, okay? Now, see this down here? See this? This is what they call the byline. And you're going to go to this little arrow and you're going to go over like this. See that? This search bar up here is for YouTube. This is for my channel. Watch. I put in bread. Look. Perfect potato bread. You want that one? Let's give you that one. Copy. Where's my chat here? Just give me a second. There we go. Let me do this again. Okay. Bread. I'm going to give you the basic bread recipe. Look at this. Perfect potato bread. Okay. Multigrain bread. Holiday baking. Basic yeast bread. Home economics in bread, potato bread, sourdough, green tomato bread. Which one would you like? Let's give you the basic yeast bread.
Hey friends, this is Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead with making basic yeast bread for beginners.
Okay, and there it is. Those are the two, I've made carrot bread. Okay, now let's go back. I've got to go back over here, switch my account. Back to Life with the Wolfies. Then I got to pause. Oh, yeah, like my French advertisements. Okay, where is my chat? This is why I have moderators, folks, so that I don't have to. See? So, there's 2 bread recipes. All you have to do is go into my channel, look for search this channel bar and punch in bread. And don't forget to share the videos with your friends and family. Exactly, Seashell. Hey, Melody Ray. I'd like to get a Pullman pan, but they're expensive. I don't, other than making a square loaf and a softer loaf, I don't see the thrill of the Pullman pans. I got so many bread pans. I got more pans than God's got ideas. You know what I mean? So anyway, we've been here for 54 minutes and it is time for us to go. Now there's 113 people here and we're going to say a prayer. Now, if out of these people, if you don't want to stay, there is no judgment. Okay? Leave with our blessing and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. The rest of us like to come together and you link to your faith and I'll link to mine and we'll join hearts and hands in the light of God's divine love or the Creator's divine love. Like I said, your faith, my faith, the only thing we need to come together on is the love and the light, right? Because I don't care what anybody says. God is good. God is great. God is love. Anything negative, or, there is no need to fear the Creator. Creator doesn't come down and smash the world and start over. Well, maybe, everything that happens that is bad is not the Creator's doing. The Creator helps us through that stuff. He doesn't create stuff to help us through. That doesn't make sense, right? Excuse me, I'm blowing my nose. Sorry that you have to hear it. Ooh, supper smells good. And I think it's time to put the bread in the oven. And I've got some more editing to do. All right, for all those who care to, please help me close. Lang mer your lums reek eternal. Lang mer your lums reek eternal. That sounds Scottish to me, Lagros. Lagros patat. Thank you, Ruth. All right. Now I've given everybody who wants to leave time enough to leave. Let's all take some deep cleansing breaths. Think about when you breathe in, you're breathing in light, and breathing out cloudiness. You're breathing in love and breathing out negativity. You're breathing in peace and breathing out chaos. You know what I mean? That's kind of things. It's all about imagery. And, when you do this, you are connecting, right? All right. May your chimneys smoke forever. Well, I don't want my chimney to smoke too much, right? It just means it's dirty, right? All right, here we go. Hey, Roxanne Tracy. All right, deep breaths. Hey, God, creator and source of all. Once again, God, thank you for bringing us together so that we can come together and lift each other up, blow away the fears that the mainstream media and social media and government are trying to break us down with again. We come here and lift each other up. We know that you're there, God. We know that you have us. But there's a lot of people out in the world. There are people that are, suffering from cancer. And, a friend was just diagnosed with uterine cancer, and she has to have a complete radical hysterectomy. I wanted to say to her that if you got to get cancer, that's the one where they can get it all out, If God brings you to it, he'll bring you through it. You just have to have faith, right, God? So, God, all those people that are afraid and fighting illness and finances and man-made disasters and all of these things. Things look really bad right now, God. But we know the ones that are awake, not woke, the ones that are awake, the ones that know you have our backs. We lift all these other people up to you, God, the sad and the lonely, the addicted and neglected, the ill and the infirm and the frightened and the weak. Because we know, God, that sometimes it's just really hard to see through the murk to find the light. So we lift them up to you, God, so that the light of your love may be closer to them so that they can see it or have moments of peace to catch their breath and move on and move forward. Onward and upward, God. We know the truth. So we thank you. for your love and your light. Let it fill us so that we glow with it and that we can lead by example of living without fear, living without anger and impatience. We're not you, God. We're not perfect, but we can try. It's all about progressing towards it, right? Every day's journey is one step closer to the perfection of God. Thank you, God. Thank you so much. My gratitude list grows daily. Amen. Namaste. Shalom. Peace be with you. Merry meet, merry part. Blessed be. Miigwech. Walk in the shining light of God's love. Whatever language you use, love's always the one that's best received, right? Thank you, guys. Take care. God bless. And we'll see you on Thursday. I love you guys. Never, ever forget that. All you need is love.